11-year-old Leo sat alone, a small island in the sea of forced cheer at the community center's holiday dinner. For 4 years, foster care had been his reality, and the only constant was the small, worn-out, knitted star ornament he clutched in his hand. Through the window, he watched the snowfall, a soft white blanket covering a world that seemed to have a place for everyone but him. Families, bundled in coats and scarves, hurried home, their laughter echoing like a distant song. Leo didn't wish for a new toy or a video game. His deepest, most secret wish was for a tree of his own, in a home of his own, where his little star could finally hang. A kind volunteer approached, her smile full of a pity he'd grown to despise. He offered a faint smile in return and slipped away, out into the cold. The crisp air bit at his cheeks, but he was drawn by the warm glow of the houses across the street, their windows like portals to another universe. He stopped in front of one, a large bay window framing a perfect Christmas scene. A magnificent tree stood tall, shimmering with lights. A family, a mother, a father, and 2 children were laughing as they placed the final ornaments. Their joy was a physical blow. Clutching his little star so tightly his knuckles turned white, the stark contrast between their world and his became unbearable. A tear escaped, freezing almost instantly on his cheek. "It's just us again, isn't it?" he whispered to the star. The bitter certainty that he would never belong, never be part of a picture like that, settled in his chest, heavy and cold. It was a feeling of giving up, of surrendering to the loneliness. With a final heartbreaking gesture, he gently placed his star on the snowy fence post, a tiny beacon of abandoned hope, and turned to walk away into the darkness. Just as he was about to disappear into the night, the front door of the bright house creaked open. A man stepped out, pulling his coat tighter against the cold. It was Mr. Jensen, a caseworker from the community center. He'd spoken to Leo earlier, just a brief, kind word. His eyes scanned the street and landed on the back of Leo's small coat. Then, he saw it, the glint of something small and familiar on the fence post, the knitted star. He walked over, his steps quiet in the snow. He didn't approach with pity, but with a gentle understanding. He didn't mention the star. "Leo?" he called out softly. "I noticed you left dinner. My wife Sarah just made her famous hot cocoa. She would be genuinely disappointed if you didn't come in and try it. It's a bit cold out here for Christmas Eve." Leo froze, his heart pounding. He hesitated, caught between the instinct to run and a flicker of something he hadn't felt in a long time. He turned and slowly, cautiously, followed Mr. Jensen back to the house. The moment he stepped inside, he was hit by a wave of warmth. The air smelled of pine, gingerbread, and home. The 2 children, a boy and a girl a little younger than him, didn't ask questions. They just ran up, excitedly showing him their new puppy, a wriggling ball of fluff. Mrs. Jensen Sarah smiled at him, a genuine, welcoming smile, and immediately handed him a steamy mug of cocoa that warmed his frozen hands. He felt dazed. He watched the family, their easy affection, the comfortable chaos, and for the first time, he wasn't on the outside looking in. He was in the picture. Later, when the children were distracted by the puppy, Mr. Jensen came and sat beside him. He held out his hand. In his palm was the little knitted star. "This belongs on a tree, Leo," he said, his voice soft but clear. "Sarah and we've been wanting to talk to you. We have an open spot on our tree, and maybe, just maybe, an open spot in our family. Would you consider spending Christmas morning with us?" Leo looked from the star in his hand to Mr. Jensen's hopeful face, then across the room to Mrs. Jensen, who was watching them with tears in her eyes and the warmest smile he had ever seen. The cold, soul-crushing weight that had lived in his chest for so long began to melt, replaced by a dizzying, terrifying, wonderful hope. He couldn't speak. He just nodded, a single jerky movement. Then, taking a deep breath, he stood up, walked over to the magnificent tree, found the perfect branch, and hung his little lonely star. It wasn't lonely anymore. It was finally at home, shining brightly against a backdrop of love. This story is a reminder that even in our darkest moments, hope can find a way in. A small act of kindness can change a life forever. If you or someone you know is struggling, please know that you are not alone and help is available. There are resources in the description below. Thank you for watching, and from our family to yours, we wish you a season filled with warmth and hope.